Hello everyone, welcome to ETHIO Blend. This is Solomon. In today's tutorial, we will create a cool text reveal animation in Blender. You are going to love it. Stay tuned until the end and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let's get started. First, open Blender. Select all by pressing the A key and delete them with X as we don't need them for now. Switch to top view by pressing 7. Add text by pressing Shift A. Go to the text object data properties, then the font section and change the font type. I have downloaded a specific font and I will include the link in the description if you like to use it. Now your text should look like this. Under the paragraph section, set the alignment to center and adjust the letter spacing to 1.1. Enter edit mode and rename mine to ETHIO. Duplicate it by pressing Shift D. Then enter edit mode and rename this text to Blend. Rename this to Blend. And rename this ETHIO. Next, you need to convert this text to a mesh by pressing Alt C and selecting mesh from curve. But they are only subdivided horizontally, which we don't need. To correct this, go to the modifier properties, add a decimate modifier. Switch to planar and set the angle to 2.5 degree. Apply it. Now in edit mode, this removes any unwanted horizontal edge. Select all by pressing A, then press E to extrude in the Z axis by 0.3. You will notice that all the faces lack uniform subdivision. Let's fix that. Go to the modifier tab, add a remesh modifier, uncheck remove disconnect, and increase the subdivision. For now, set it to 6, but I will raise it to 8 for rendering. Hide it by pressing H. You need to convert this text to a mesh by pressing Alt C and selecting mesh from curve, but they are only subdivided horizontally. Go to the modifier properties, add a decimate modifier. Switch to planar and set the angle to 2.5 degree. Apply it. Select all by pressing A, then press E to extrude in the Z axis by 0.3. Do the same for this text. Go to the modifier tab, add a remesh modifier, uncheck remove disconnected, setting the subdivision to 6 for now, and hide it by pressing H. We will first work on the letter ETHIO, then add a plane using Shift A and rotate it in the y-axis to 90 degrees. Again, rotate in z-axis 25 degrees. Enter edit mode, scale it by S key, move a little in y-axis, then move the plane along the x-axis to the first letter. Then press E to extrude along the x-axis until it covers the letter and switch to wireframe. Switch to solid mode. Rename a plane to main or whatever you like. Then press Shift D to duplicate it. Then also rename this to main 1. For now, hide the main one by pressing H. Enter edit mode. Select the first vertices by pressing B. Duplicate it by pressing Shift D and separate selection by pressing P. Now select the vertices, then extrude by pressing E along the x-axis minus 0.05. Back in solid mode. Holding Shift key, select the cube, then press Ctrl P to parent the objects. Keep transform. When the cube moves, the small follows. Now hide main, then unhide main 1. And also, similar to the previous, in edit mode, select the vertices by pressing B. Then Shift D to duplicate, then by pressing P, separate the selection. Then select the vertices, then extrude by pressing E 0.05. Back in solid mode. Holding Shift key, select the cube, then press Ctrl P to parent the objects. Keep transform. For now, hide the main one by pressing H. Unhide main and small for now. Select the cube, press N to open the transform properties. Then at frame 1, On location, press I and insert a keyframe. Move frame 60 and move it along the x-axis while in wireframe mode. And insert a keyframe. At frame 60, scale to 1 and insert a keyframe. Go to frame 61. Set the scale to 0 at that frame and insert a keyframe. Similarly, at frame 60, set the scale to 0 and insert a keyframe. Go to frame 61. Reset the scale to 1 and insert a keyframe. On location, press I and insert a keyframe. Now go to frame 120 and move it along the x-axis in the opposite direction and insert a keyframe. Set the end frame 120. Select ETHIO. Go to frame 60 to hide ETHIO text after frame 60 and insert a keyframe. Go to frame 61. Set the scale to 0 and insert a keyframe. Unhide blend. Go to frame 60 and hide blend text before frame 60. Set the scale to 0 and insert a keyframe. Go to frame 61. Then set the scale to 1 and insert a keyframe. Select the ETHIO text. Add a boolean modifier. Main, add the object. And change the operation to reference. Select the blend text. Add another boolean modifier. From the object, add main1 and set the operation to reference as well. This setup means the text will reveal as the cube moves. Hide the boolean cube in the viewport and render. Switch to solid mode. Press Shift S to set the cursor to center. Then add a plane using Shift A. Switch to edit mode and scale it using S. Press Shift A to add a camera and move it upward along the Z axis. Adjust the camera properties. Set the focal length 100. Then press 0 to switch to camera view. And change from Blender render to cycle render. In the world setting, set the strength to 0. This means that in the render view, the environment light appears completely dark. Switch back to solid mode. Press Shift A to add an area light and move it upward along the Z axis. Move it along the Y axis and rotate it in the X axis to -45 degrees. Arrange it as desired. Change the light size to 3 diffuse lighting and adjust its strength to 250 up to 300. Add another area light by pressing Shift A. Press G to grab and move the light to where I want it to come from. Adjust its properties. Set the size to 2 and rotate it in the Y-axis to -45 degrees. Press G to grab and move the light. Set this light strength to 100 and change its color to warm. If you need a hex code similar to mine, FF8300. Duplicate the light by pressing Shift D and move it in the opposite direction. Rotate it in the Z axis to 180 degrees. Adjust the strength to 150 up to 200 as needed. To warm similarly. Go to camera view and switch to render view. It's looking good already. First, let's create a material for the background. Select the plane and open the node editor. Go to the material panel and click new. Rename this material to background. And set the base color to pink with the hex code E78A95. Switch to render view. Next, let's create a material for the letters. Select a letter and go to the material tab, then press new. Switch from diffuse to principal. To create a color combination, press Ctrl T to enable node wrangler. If it doesn't work, enable it in User Preference. Select the image texture. Set the texture coordinate to Object and press Shift S to switch it to Noise Texture. And adjust the scale to 2 and detail to about 5. Now add a color ramp by pressing Shift A. Change the black color to blue, the hex code 315DF7. Then add another color and set it to yellow. Hex code is FBA632. Select the second color and change it to pink. Hex code is FF336F. Drag the colors around to customize as you like. Keep specularity at 0.5 and roughness at 0.3. Switch to render view. Then switch back to solid mode. Press new and switch to principled. I want this to be silver material. Metal to 1, specular to default, and roughness to 0.3. Hex code is E79B00. This is final render animation. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and join our family. Until next time, goodbye.